We're often told our mental health is all about our experiences, right? But what if a huge part of the story is actually written in our DNA? Today, we're going to dive into a hidden genetic link that can totally change how we understand things like anxiety. Look, for so many of us, anxiety is this familiar feeling. It's a word we hear all the time, but when you're in it, the experience is incredibly personal. But have you ever felt like the usual explanations just don't quite fit? Things like stress or trauma or brain chemistry. They're part of it, for sure. But what if you've always had this gut feeling that there's another piece to your puzzle? To help you figure out if this explainer might hold that missing piece, let's do a really quick check-in. It's basically a little profile based on 3 simple questions. Okay, so ask yourself this. First, is this something you've wrestled with on and off for pretty much your whole life, not just something that popped up recently? Second, can you really point to one single clear event that triggered it all, or does it seem to just be there? And finally, number 3, have you tried traditional medications and they just didn't really seem to move the needle for you? If you found yourself nodding along, especially if you were thinking yes to all 3 of those, well, the root cause might not actually be what we think of as psychological. It could be written right into your genetic code. And that brings us to the star of our show today, a gene mutation called MTHFR. I know, it's a real mouthful, but seriously, stick with me because understanding what this thing does, it's a game changer. So that MTHFR gene, it stands for methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. Yeah, forget that name. All you need to know is what it does, which is actually super simple. Think of it like a translator. It takes folate, that's a B vitamin you get from food, and it translates or converts it into something called methylfolate. And that's the active form your body and your brain can actually use. So what happens when that translator is, well, not very good at its job? What happens when this one single, really important biological process doesn't happen the way it's supposed to? Normally, the system works like a charm. You eat foods with folate, the MTHFR gene does its little conversion magic, and bam, your body gets the methylfolate it needs. And this is so important because your brain uses that methylfolate to make neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, the very chemicals that regulate your mood. See? With a normal gene, it's a smooth process. Folate goes in, usable methylfolate comes out. But with the MTHFR mutation, that whole biological assembly line just breaks. The folate is there, but the crucial final product, the methylfolate, never gets made properly. And here's the critical takeaway from that. This isn't just some abstract genetic detail. It leads to a real, measurable deficiency of a chemical that your brain desperately needs to keep your mood and emotions on an even keel. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds really specific, maybe even a little rare. But you might be surprised by just how common this is. 44%. That's the estimated slice of the population that actually carries this exact gene mutation. So let's be clear, this is not some rare condition that affects a tiny number of people. We are talking about nearly half the population. It's an incredibly common genetic quirk that has a huge impact on our internal chemistry. And the fallout from this isn't just limited to anxiety. This exact same methylfolate deficiency is linked to a whole range of other conditions, everything from depression and ADD to OCD and even bipolar disorder. It's like one biological problem that can wear a lot of different masks. Once you understand this biological foundation, it lets you look at all of these conditions through a completely new lens. It really offers a powerful and, I think, freeing shift in perspective. There's a quote from the source material that just absolutely nails this idea. It says, "These struggles are not psychiatric conditions happening to you, they are psychiatric conditions happening within you." And that, right there, is the key takeaway. It totally shifts the conversation away from things like willpower or some kind of personal failing and puts the focus where it belongs, on understanding a real, tangible, biological process. And with that understanding comes the power to look for different kinds of answers. So, we'll end with this thought. It's a big idea for sure, but it opens up so many new ways of understanding ourselves and our health. What if a huge part of the answer we've been looking for has been there, inside of us, this whole time?